Hello everyone, this is a review on the Wilson Electronics cell phone booster. As you can see right here, it works for 3G and 4G phones. And while I can't show you how it actually does boost the amount of bars that you have, because I'm in full coverage right now, I can say with a high level of confidence that it does work, and I have used it in some pretty remote areas in the last 2 weeks. And I've seen a pretty big improvement in my cell phone coverage. So first, let's see how we actually set it up, and then we can go from there. Okay, the first thing, it's a little antenna with a magnet on it, so you can put it wherever you want. Let's set it right here, and then you've got a cable that runs from your antenna, and you want to bury it. So I've got it running through underneath my weather trim, and then down my door, underneath my floor mat, and then ultimately into the device right there. Now it's also powered by your USB plug, which I'll plug in right here to give it power. So right now you've got a full power device that will amplify your signal. Now you also can charge your devices from it right here on the USB, which will work, again, since you're plugged into a auxiliary power output from your vehicle, and you're ready to go. Now the one thing that I'm not a real big fan of, and you can see that it still have wires around, is that the way the manufacturer suggests mounting it is to actually use a sticky pad and mount it permanently on your vehicle. So you'd mount it permanently, and then you would actually, I'm sorry if this is jittery, you just keep it on like such, so that your device is mounted. That keeps you from being able to use it in multiple vehicles, of course, unless you have multiple mounting brackets. And it also means that passengers might not be able to use it for other things too. So I've chosen not to do it. Now the way that they intend to use it is that you mount it permanently, and then you use it via a hands-free Bluetooth device, which is a very good option, but for me it's not what I wanted to do, so I'm not permanently mounted it. Okay, here's the device. Again, one thing to think about is that this right here, this bottom input, actually gets pretty hot. Not to the point where you're going to get burned, but definitely to the point where it's very uncomfortable to touch. I'm not really exactly sure why it does that, but it does. You can't see here, but my phone has got full bars right now. But when I plug it in, it cradles it, and that's how your phone works. So you have different cradles right here that you can use and change out depending on the thickness of your phone. You've got an on-off switch. The little green light here shows that it's on, and I went from 4 bars now to 5 bars. Now the manufacturer explains that you do need to have your phone essentially in contact with it for it to work, but I have found that the overall vehicle itself, the phone reception seems to improve even if you're not touching it directly, but it definitely isn't to that point. Now again, I've stated that I've traveled the last couple weeks to some remote places, one of which was a remote beach in the northern part of Michigan, and when I was up there I had no power, or I had no cell phone coverage at all. So we wanted to find a restaurant, couldn't find one because our phones didn't work. We put the phone on this contraption from Wilson Electronics, and suddenly our internet connection worked and we were able to find a restaurant. Without it, we would have had no chance. Again, driving through the mountains of West Virginia, I was able to listen to Pandora through my cell phone, through my iPhone, because I was able to boost the signal using this device. So I can say unequivocally that it definitely does work. There are, again, a couple of drawbacks. I wish it wasn't a permanent mount that came with it, and it does get a little warm, and the wiring, unless you're good at these sort of things, will probably look a little sloppy. But other than that, I'm pretty impressed. So what I mean by sloppy, you'll see the wires kind of coming through. So you could probably get it professionally wired if you wanted, and since it's a permanent mount, that might not be a bad option for you. Okay, a few final words on it. It is for 4G phones, and I've tried it with both 4G and 3G phones, and it's equally effective. I say equally, it may be a little bit more effective on the 4G network, but again, my phone currently here is 3G, and it works well. It does get a little warm. It does need a power source of some sort, and however, if you're able to use an external battery pack, for instance, you could take this and maybe even use it inside your home. You don't necessarily have to use the included power pack. And what I mean by that is you have your power source here, which is just a USB 5 volt. So if you take this out, you can now mount this inside your home or inside your office and use some sort, either your laptop or an external battery pack, and again you can boost your cell phone coverage. So there's lots of different options on it, and they're all pretty cool. So I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I wish it did come with again a more of a removable mounting system. I wish maybe it does get a little hot, but not that big of a deal. It definitely works, and if you're in an area you do a lot of driving or you need something to boost your coverage for your 3G and 4G networks, this is something you really should consider.